Damn.
Already?
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to the episode of Into the West Comics Special Run It Back Edition. We're going to follow up, kind of going over the first season. What are you giggling about? First season of the Game of the Thrones.
Is that what the show is called?
Season what? I don't remember.
Game of the Thrones.
The Game of the Thrones.
You're the guy that's supposed to keep it together. What are we talking about?
I don't.
The houses.
I'm having a hard time tonight.
The houses of the
The
dragons?
House of the Dragons.
Uh-huh.
The Targaryens.
Yeah.
Uncles and nieces.
And nephews.
And nephews. Loving, summer loving. The summer of love.
Summer loving.
Everybody loving
crazy.
each other.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, it's very...
In all different kinds of ways.
Loving. It's
Very,
loving.
very loving. Arsenio Targaryen is in the mix. Everything is a little...
He's alive, right?
Everything's a little... You know what I mean? It's out there.
Everything's a little love.
A little bit of love.
What do you think?
The episode
Shane?
of about Arsenio?
No.
No. What I think about what?
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yes, about Arsenio Hall.
You know, those people over there are people who live in Dragonstone for too long. I think that this episode's what called the Rogue Prince was episode 2 of season 1.
That's true.
Okay.
What was your question? I'm sorry, I'm drunk. I've been drinking.
Are we doing it? Okay. Are we reviewing?
We haven't talked about this show at all yet.
Oh yeah.
What? No, I was gonna say. What did you think about episode 2 of season 1?
Oh, once again, matching with episode 1, I think it has a steady pace. I know that there isn't time jumping in episode 2 at this point. No, but
No, it's a couple months after.
yeah, it's a couple of months
Well,
after
but-
episode 1.
It's not years.
Yes.
Right.
It's not
And
new actors far forward.
so
It's not that big of a jump.
Damon at this point, he's at Dragonstone hanging out and chilling because the king sent him there. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's in
Stepstones?
Dragonstone. He's in Dragonstone.
Are you reading the plot?
Yeah, I'm just refreshing myself.
He's Dragonstoning.
He's in Dragonstone. Yeah.
I'm refreshing. Can I refresh, Paul?
Shane's
I don't know what I'm
Dragonstone.
talking about.
Go ahead.
Did you rewatch it? No, I'm just kidding.
So Lord Corlys is the Targaryen brother. He,
Is the
he's
brother.
mad because all his ships are getting destroyed by the crab feeder. So he's wanting the king to do something about that. So he's barging in and whatnot. Like these scenes were really good, like super good, especially with Lord Corlys trying to convince Daemon to, you know, like you need to take what you want in this instance, you know, and like take control of the situation and get your name out there along with me. Like we both need to get our names out there because the king is ignoring both of us, you know. And I thought that was like, it's just so well acted and so well done. This second episode, you know, I think it's really good. I think it considering that I was just like, was it good? So when I rewatched it, I was like, oh yeah, this is fantastic. Now I understand what we were talking about back in the day. We were reviewing it in the first time around. It is really, really good. It stays good at this point.
Previously on Into the West, about a year or so ago, we were talking about that at the same time of House of the Dragon, there was another fantasy series that was coming out.
Correct.
And they kind of overlapped, and we were going back and forth.
They intentionally made it so they did not this time around.
They intentionally did it differently this way because Rings of Power second season doesn't come out until August. I think it's the end of August is when it comes out.
So they won't be intertwining at all?
I think it ends before
it ends
Rings
the
of
week.
Power starts.
Rings of Power starts the week after House of Dragon ends.
Wow.
Which I feel like is probably better.
Whose decision was this, you think? Do you think it was HBO's decision?
Mr. HBO.
Yeah.
It was probably Mr. Amazon's. They're the ones that probably moved.
Humphrey box office.
Humphrey G box office. With a cigar.
I want it in June, see?
Shane.
So which is it?
Started after.
Is it the next episode?
What?
Sorry, go ahead.
What is the matter? What are you saying? In the second episode, what's wrong?
I said, is it the next episode with the time jump? The first time jump with.
I think they do 3 and then they time jump.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, the second episode is like 5 or 6 months. I think the second to third episode is like 4 years, 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the next time jump after that is considerable.
Is she still Millie Alcock in the third episode?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know. This episode is one of those episodes where it's a very good episode, but it contains things that I don't.
It's like what?
I don't enjoy watching. It's where the show kind of starts not to lose me, but to make me go, I don't want to watch all this incest again.
Oh, come on.
Like, that's
fun.
It's like.
Sorry. I know it makes you uncomfortable, so it's fun.
It doesn't
to
make me
you...
uncomfortable as much as it makes me like, whose idea was this?
Because it's the whole thing about it.
This old dude was sitting at his desk one night writing his story and was like, what if he slept with his, or what if she slept with her uncle?
They're trying to keep the bloodline pure of, disgustingly pure.
It was very
grossly pure.
It was a very pure place to have that happen, wasn't it?
There's no big deal to anybody.
It was so
cool.
visceral too.
It is odd.
It's a good show.
But Rhaenyra's like defying her father that episode and going to Dragonstone to hang out with Daemon, and like the whole thing it's pretty wild considering that Rhaenyra's upset that her mother's passed and
Alicent.
Viserys hasn't really spoken to Rhaenyra in like a long time. Like she's like, you haven't spoken to me at all in this whole 6 months. The fast forward. And that's pretty wild considering that he is naming her heir to the throne.
Alicent's got like a sugar daddy,
like
kind of thing.
That weird thing is going on where she's seeing them.
Also creepy.
That's also creepy.
Yeah,
because she's young.
The character that I really enjoy in this show, at least through the episodes I've seen, which is the first 5, is what's his name? Homeboy. He's the knight that's like all cutesy with Rhaenyra.
Cole.
Yeah,
Cole. Yeah, I like his
Kirsten
character. Cole. Yeah,
he's dope too.
And I don't think it's this episode. I think it's another episode where he kind of gets. He's about to be in trouble for his kind of feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it this episode? Or is it?
Think so.
I think it's the third one.
Okay, well, but I just think he's an interesting character, and again, I think the character work in this show is phenomenal.
Because Rhaenyra picks him in this episode to be the Kingsguard.
Yeah,
considering that they have a bunch of dudes that are everybody, all the Kingsguard candidates they bring up. They're like there's somebody that the king owes a favor to, or some such, or something like that.
Yeah.
So when she picks him to be the Kingsguard, you go, oh,
it's like
what's going on there?
And it's like partially motivated, like out of spite.
Yeah.
Like no, I'm just gonna get this guy. He's like, you don't want this? You don't want this guy to be in? I'm gonna pick him.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick him. Yeah, because he's had combat experience. She mentions
right.
That's dope. Because she's making her own decisions.
How do you think this show will hold up? Like we get, I don't know, we're gonna get at least another season, but we get 4 or 5 seasons of this show. How do you think it holds up? It would hold up against the original series?
That's the thing.
Because there's so many stories that we get with the payoff of the slow build of these characters kind of getting redemption. Some of them just getting murdered, but some of them get murdered, getting like
murdered,
and they don't get a redemption story type of thing. And then with this, it's all within this family that is just insane.
Yep.
And we get to see it's a reality show. It's like a medieval reality
like Jersey
show.
Shore.
Yeah, it's very dysfunctional.
It's Dragon's Shore.
Yeah,
I'm saying
the Real Housewives of Dragonstone.
I think we really need to see. This season will tell us all we need to know about, especially to answer that question. I think this season will do that.
I think this season is critical.
It's critical
to it being successful going forward,
and it's critical to it being as much as the original series as possible. Like they need to make it just like Game of Thrones. Like not so much character wise or character building wise. They just need to bring the drama and the great acting, and that script needs to be spot on for this season.
If
more than the first.
If because of the end of the original series, if this series starts to take a turn to where you're not sure if you're going to like where it's going, are you going to stop watching it?
No.
Because of your...
Because I didn't stop watching the original Game of Thrones. Why would I stop watching those?
And Game of Thrones, like last season, was like, what is happening?
I know.
And still watching it because you were so invested.
Yeah, you're like, I have to see how this ends. But Frank, there were periods in the last season again of the original series where it didn't seem like it was all that bad. It just took a really bad turn, like at a certain point. You know what I mean? Like episode 4 or 5 of that turn, it just made it just a horrible, horrible turn.
I didn't think that I thought the execution was fine. I think that what they had an issue with was making you how do you become kind of sympathetic to the characters? The same thing with what's within Game of Thrones is because everybody's so jacked up.
Right.
And the same thing that goes into this is that it's a family and
everybody sucks.
And they're all kind of brutal, right? Yeah. Like they have selfish motivations and they're nasty to each other.
What am I rooting for?
Like
here?
all of them is like.
Yeah, but
so who am I backing? Like what's the guy that I want to support, or who's the queen that I want to support?
Sure.
Whatever.
I guess maybe you could just enjoy everyone falling apart like Jersey Shore. Like that's why I liked watching Jersey Shore.
Because that train wreck
falling apart. I wasn't rooting for like JWoww.
I mean but when it came
I was, but
you were rooting for JWoww. When it came to
were you not rooting for JWoww?
When it came to the first season,
The Note. Have you watched Jersey Shore?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know. The Note. Oh, good Lord. No, when it comes to Game of Thrones, like you could pick like Arya, like you're rooting for Arya to succeed. You're rooting for Jon Snow to succeed at a certain point.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you want Sansa to succeed. You want to just escape.
Yeah, or at least escape. I mean, when it came to the first series, you knew who was horrible and you knew who was, they're not terrible. You know, you know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of terrible people in the show. But
small side note: the dude who plays the floating Jedi in the Acolyte,
that's
Joffrey. Right?
No, he played.
He's too small to be Joffrey.
I think he played Joffrey's younger brother.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was.
I think is the actor.
Yeah, I knew it was something.
That sounds nuttier. That's crazy, huh?
But again, to your guys' point, you don't find yourself really pulling for any of them. Not really. You're like
Damon is fun to watch, but I'm like,
absolutely.
I don't like that dude. I don't want him to succeed.
I mean, but Allison, I'm pulling for her.
Well,
I think the most.
Hashtag Team Allison.
I'm pulling
at this point, she's very, very sad. Yeah, like I mean, she's just a sad kid. She's sitting there digging at her nails.
I just pull for the dragons?
That's I mean, that's probably your best bet. I think at this point in the show, I was pulling for Allison, but
or whatever.
But the further the show goes along, there comes like a moment, in episode like 5 or 6, where she her and Rhaenyra start to get a little beef. We'll get into it, but Then I was no longer on her side.
Oh, really?
But no, she's one of the more sympathetic characters, right? Sure, even in that moment,
if she's being pushed by her father at every turn to make sure that you need to be with this king, like we need to get this together now before everybody in this, everybody in the village is coming for the king. They know he's weak, and this is the time where they're going to come and try to, get their claws in him.
Yeah,
but all this stuff stems from Viserys deciding to not name Rhaenyra the heir.
Yeah.
And all the stuff rolls out of that. And then you see to where it comes full circle generations later to where Dany just assumes everything. Right. She goes and takes it. Mm-hmm. She's not asking permission. She just goes and takes on these armies and wipes out the people that are going to challenge her.
Yeah, it was meant for me. She basically was saying, this is all meant for me. You know? I mean, that's the weird part about Daemon here. Like Daemon knows that he's like, I should be king, or I should at least be at the king's court, even though I'm a whore, even though I can't stand any of this, and I'm not really paying attention all that much, and I basically just do whatever I want. But he's still, he's yelling at.
So he's Trump and Viserys is Biden.
Hey, come on, man. Hey, I mean, you gotta.
You don't want to open that can of worms.
You get it together, and you gotta. I mean, come on, man.
Come on. I want to give that Biden a solid 8 to 9.
They both suck for different reasons.
Biden. Come on.
You're doing this. You got a guy over here who's working 8 hours. I mean, come on.
Come on,
like,
man.
what?
Come on, man.
Viserys turns into Biden at the end. Except Biden's alive.
He has the aviators.
Somebody needs to make that edit. House of Dragons season 1, but Viserys is Biden, and every time Daemon's on screen,
references of the first
Trump.
part, and then
Yeah.
Get some Biden with long hair
and the rotting flesh, which he probably actually has.
Oh my word! Riding a dragon.
What? We see your bestie.
Flesh. That is great though. Viserys, like every time he sits on the throne, he gets another cut.
Yeah,
he's going, ow, like
infected, and he's just falling apart.
Leeches out of.
I felt bad for dude. Like I really did. Watching it. Yeah.
He's already turning into a mess. They're bringing out the leeches and just put your hand in this bowl of leeches and just.
I feel like cut your finger off.
Or, no, it's maggots. Because you put your hand in this bowl of maggots.
Yeah.
I still
it's the doctor.
Even though he wouldn't name her, and he's kind of like a coward, but he also he has his reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, because nobody's named a female.
Yeah, he doesn't know what'll happen. Yeah.
He just knows that he loved his wife who's passed on, and that she couldn't bear him a son to save her life. Mm-hmm. He's just like, listen, I'm going to do this for you because I know you got leadership qualities, so I'm going to name you heir. And let's see what happens.
And then it just kind of blows up.
And then I'm going to have a child with your best friend and take it from you.
And then it's like, just kidding.
Why? See what I'm saying? It's just wild.
And then then Rhaenyra's like, but you called no take back season.
Right.
Daddy, father. You called no take back seals.
I think the next time that we get together to talk about this, we should spend the whole time just talking about how jacked up Daemon is.
Yeah, and just say what is his problem?
And their whole dynamic. I mean, they're hopeless
wild.
romantics.
Is the next episode the episode with the stepstones, or
I believe
he's fighting the
dude
feeder with the mouth together? Yeah, I like that.
That's the third or fourth episode. Yeah,
something like that.
I think so because they show the crab feeder at the end of episode 2. So, and Lord Corlys is like, "Hey, Daemon, go over there and take care of this jabroni for me." So, because my ships are being blown up.
Do you think that Millie Alcock is probably really hyped that she was able to get on the hype train of House of Dragons, do a couple episodes, get a bunch of publicity, and then dip and doesn't have to do it for the next 6 years?
Maybe.
That's the dream, right? She can, if she was going to have to be in this show.
This is a good time. That's a good time to be on.
And then get out. Would she be able to be Supergirl if she was going to have to continue doing House of Dragons for? And she's probably got a lot more opportunities.
But Warner's kind of like that, though, aren't they, Paul? You're in the family.
That's
she
true.
was on that list of actresses that they were going to consider to play Supergirl because she was already in the Warner family.
But she has time to do it now because her character is not her anymore.
But it's going to be a callback where they're seasons. The third or fourth season, they're going to say oh, remember Millie Alcock played the younger.
Yeah,
but she's going to be too old by that point.
Who is absolutely amazing too.
She's phenomenal.
She was great.
She's such a good actor.
She did a really good job. And I think she's going to do. I think she's going to do a really good job as Supergirl too.
Chrissy Teigen just popped up on the television. She was not. She was looking worse.
She's doing a really good job too.
Really, Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah. What's his name's? What's his name?
John Legend.
John Legend's shorty. Yeah,
she's a mess. I've never liked her.
Oh, here we go.
I'm so glad I brought that up.
I've never liked her, Quan.
And I never liked her. You ain't never lied.
You ain't never lying.
So
what's next week? Next week is
we did episode 1 last week.
What's episode 3?
We did episode
second
2
of his name. That's like when they have. That's when Daemon is fighting.
Aha.
Corlys and Daemon are fighting the crab feeder.
Feeder.
So
I like that episode.
Dope.
Yeah, I think I'm more excited to talk about that episode than I was, because this episode has the thing that I'm like, I don't like that.
What? Oh yeah, because of the
it's just so gross. Like, what are we doing? The whole thing. It's not like
it's grody.
Even if it wasn't like, even if they weren't related, the whole situation was still gross.
Yeah, it's gross.
A situationship.
Shout out brothels.
I mean, it's just weird. Believe me, it's weird.
What is it in the first episode? Is that Daemon is with his main
Squeeze
friend, and she's like, "Do you want me to go get someone else? Maybe somebody with white hair."
Yeah.
She does say that.
Like
She's
somebody
like,
reminds you of like a family member or something like that. Is that like what?
Yeah.
Like, this is like
what?
Like so crazy. Like Damon's like pausing there for a second, just like thinking naked. Like maybe. It's jacked.
It's jacked. The whole thing's jacked.
I'm thinking about some of the storylines going forward, and I think I like this show is better than I need to finish it, because there's some stuff later on with Cole and one of the sons of the Sons of Anarchy. The sons of the other dragon family across the pond. His wife, Damon's wife's family.
Yeah, not
the
his
Schmurs.
No, not the Schmurs.
Why can't I think of their names? The brothers.
Yeah. The brothers.
Yeah, but like their son, and they're like the relationship with Rhaenyra, but he is like other relationships, and then Cole. I'm excited to talk about that.
I mean, it's gonna be great. Like it really is, and it does get better as it goes on. And there's high drama that's going to come along.
High drama.
And then when
Valerian.
Yes, thank you.
Valerian.
When the high drama.
That's the dragon.
Yeah. Plus, there's a lot of great stuff that comes along from their sons, from their son. Like it's like, I think if season 2 can do, can settle down.
I think I said something that makes
sense. He's got the giggles.
If season 2 settles down and becomes Game of Thrones, like the way
tell him to settle down, Shane.
Love, huh?
Tell him to settle down. Tell him to settle down.
That's impossible.
And
I don't know.
I
don't know if people have the same patience level though to go through
anymore.
But they're going to experience this whole build that you had for Game of Thrones over the course of it was spread out. So they 7 or 8 years,
out, dude.
Right? Maybe 9 years where they were doing this show. It was 7 seasons or 6 seasons. If they're gonna do it like this, because the second season is only gonna be 8 episodes. Okay. But then they said the third season will come out faster.
Yeah.
Than
if they can
the
do
gap
that
between the first and second. They said the third season will come out sooner than the second season, but time difference.
That's a lot of math.
I mean, if they can do that, if they can actually get it out faster instead of us waiting around. There's a few seasons of Game of Thrones where we're just kind of waiting. We waited a long time in between seasons because it took a long time for them to get that done. I think he's writing ahead, I would assume, for House of the Dragon.
We hope. Host of the Dragon House.
Host of the Dragon House.
Yeah.
You know what we haven't talked about at all in the first 2 episodes? The dragons. The names.
Let's get into some dragons next week, as well as the whole Daemon and Rhaenyra dynamic.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about episode 3, and we'll get crab feeder. We'll get into that. But
we're gonna contract
the crabs.
Paul, how could they find us in Dragonstone?
You can find us in Dragonstone at @into_comics on Twitter, and at @into_comics at Intothewestcomics everywhere else. Spotify, Apple Pods, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, that part.
Foot Finder.
Period. Grinder.
Nephew Finder, niece Finder, uncle Finder.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about all that.
Targaryens.
Allison Hightower
Finder
is going to get older soon.
I cannot believe he went this long without making that joke.
I can't wait for Allison Hightower to get older. Frank, it's going to be unbelievable. Outrageous.
And with that, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna talk a little bit about Biden Targaryen next week.
Biden Targaryen,
and
he's the best
Arsenio Targaryen, and
Kamala Targaryen is a good second in command, though.
All those guys next week. Shane, do you got anything you're excited besides Allison?
Allison Hightower, Frank. I can't wait.
And we'll talk about the dragons. We'll talk about dragons next week as well.
Dragons. I want to talk about no dragons. I want to talk about Allison Hightower.
This summer, though, we're eating good. We've got Acolyte. We've got The Boys. We've got House of the Dragon season 2 coming out on June 16th, I think it is. And yeah, we've got lots of stuff.
Who let this guy in here?
I don't know.
All right, let's get him out.
All right, guys, have a great night. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. We'd appreciate it so much.
Yes.
Have a great night.
Like, comment, subscribe, do that thing.
Do all those things.
Crab feeder.
Yeah.
Love you.